Avengers Endgame is the headline on this week's MBE Heroes, John. We're going to be talking about this briefly because this is a pre-recorded show, as you know.
Yes,
by the time this goes out, the UK premiere is tomorrow, but the world premiere was on Sunday. But
Yes.
we do know now that Marvel have come out and labelled the last 22 films the Infinity Saga.
Yes.
And we also know that Kevin Feige has also confirmed that Spider-Man Far From Home will be the last film in this current phase.
Yes, that's very interesting, Stephen, because as we spoke about before we came on, this was what they did at the end of Phase 2. We had Age of Ultron, and then the final film for Phase 2 was Ant-Man.
That's right,
So they do have previews for this.
Yeah.
They go for the big bombastic ensemble affair, and then they give us a smaller sort of a standalone film to sort of pass the baton over to the next
I've got to
phase.
be honest, John. I know that might surprise a lot of people, Kevin Feige coming out and saying this, but it doesn't really surprise me at all. These things with the phases are really for us, the general public.
Yeah.
It's really just for us to have some kind of mental note in our heads what's coming next. That's basically it. As far as Marvel and Disney are concerned, I don't think it concerns them too much.
No, Stephen, look, I'm going to go through the various different films here. I'll just go through a short little nostalgia trip of what the hell this is all culminating with. Obviously, the first film, Iron Man. What was your thoughts on that one? Very, very briefly, because we're talking about Endgame, not all these things, but I just want to go through it briefly.
No problem, John. 2008, yep. Same year as Dark Knight it came out, wasn't it?
Yeah. Stephen, I'll actually reword it. Would you have believed 10 years ago that we would be sitting here with this incredible, epic sort of affair coming just a few days from now? Would you have believed that this, you'd have connected with all these incredible characters? Fairly small characters, remember, these aren't big players.
I know that we got the sort of Nick Fury cameo at the very end of Iron Man.
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah.
It was, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was, yeah.
Even then, I was still trying to get my head around how this was going to work. We got the Incredible Hulk right after it. Robert Downey Jr. makes a cameo appearance at the end of that one. Confused me a lot more. But as things panned out, as the film started to come out, the first Avenger came out, it started, all those little pieces started to slot into place. We got Thor, the first film, the one with Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people hate it. I don't.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And then we got the first Avengers film. That's really when it kicked in for me. I've got to be honest.
Still remember going to see it with you, Stephen?
It was phenomenal. I just, it's one of those things you always dreamed of as a kid. You always wanted to see these superheroes all combine and fight the evil forces, and cinematically it just never happened.
No,
but this film made it a reality.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching the cartoons, Stephen, the likes of the DC cartoons in the mid-90s.
Yep.
So I've been never in a million years have thought at this point you'd be seeing these stories told in such a big scale, and just the epicness of it, and just all of this incredible interconnected universe, all these characters all having parts to play, standalone films, and then weaving perfectly into these big ensemble releases. It's just been beautifully put together. We've seen so many studios trying their best to try and mimic and copy this, and they've just fell flat on their faces. So I just think it's been a masterful job from everybody involved. Kevin Feige, obviously Bob Iger, I presume, has been at Disney for a long period of time. I'm not too sure how much of a say he's had. Just the likes of Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, even Scarlett Johansson. About to say Scarlet Witch here, Jesus Christ.
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo. All of these guys, they've all been in these roles for so long now. They're so synonymous with it. They've just made a masterful job. And you look, Stephen, there has been some turds in there. The likes of Iron Man 3 wasn't the best.
Well, I actually
preferred that world.
Iron Man 3 to Iron Man 2. I thought Iron Man 2 was just a rehash of the first film,
Yeah, but those two films came on the back of each other. Iron Man 3 then for the Dark World, so two lukewarm releases, but they get back onto form, Stephen, with obviously Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah.
And then it was onwards and upwards after that with Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe not Avengers, Age of Ultron. I didn't think it was a terrible film. It just felt like an Avengers 2.5 sort of a film, 1.5.
I thought it was
It wasn't that good. It was more just a handling of the Ultron character. It was a lukewarm villain at best. But Stephen, I digress. We've kind of briefly done the nostalgia trip. I want to get into obviously Avengers Endgame here, and maybe perhaps discuss some theories before we move on to the next topic in the show. Where do you see this film going, Stephen? I mean, there's so many possibilities. I've been going down the rabbit hole reading some theories, but I try my best to stay away from this, because we've seen with Star Wars, obviously The Last Jedi, the danger of going too far down these rabbit holes and looking into things and overthinking it, and then you forget that the directors and the producers and the writers have their creative vision, their idea of where the story's going, and sometimes that doesn't jive with what the fans want, and you became so invested in one theory, you're so disappointed when you see the other theory appear on the screen. So it spoils the experience for me. But Stephen, there is a couple of theories. Who do you think the original sort of I want to call it quintet, I don't know if you could call it quintet, obviously you've got Hawkeye, Captain America, what's she called? Black Widow.
Black Widow,
Iron Man and Thor, quintet. Do you think they will all come through unscathed at the end of this film, or do you think there's going to be casualties?
I think it's been very clear for a long time now that Chris Evans has said that he's done with the character. He's not said it in those words, but he has been on social media, you know, really heavily hinting this. He's him done after this. So I don't know in what capacity, whether he's going to get a happy end or it's going to be tragic. I don't know. Robert Downey Jr. I don't know. I think he's a bit like Harrison Ford with Han Solo. I think he really wants to detach himself from the character eventually, but he's finding it very hard to let go of it.
Yeah, he sees a sort of a godfather figure.
Yeah. And I think maybe even watered down sort of appearances in later films might work for Robert Downey Jr. I don't know.
Well, that was a theory I've seen, Steve.
I don't know if he wants to burn his bridges completely. I think, I was about to call him Steve Rogers, I think Chris Evans, on the other hand, wants to do other things. You've got to remember, he was in another franchise before this. He was in the Fantastic Four. So, he probably wants to forget about that. He's had such success with this character. I think he wants to end it in a high. So, in what capacity, I don't know. I would like to see some kind of time travel happily ever after Peggy Carter. Yeah. You know, they get reunited in the 40s or something like that, and they live happily ever after. But who knows?
Well, my theory is that he will be reunited with Peggy Carter, but it won't be happily ever after. I think it will involve perhaps going, maybe sacrificing for Infinity War. Sort of a set-up, going to that place where obviously the pepperoni guy is. I forget his name, Stephen Tero. Obviously it was Hugo Weaving played him.
Oh right, yeah.
They go in there and he has to sacrifice himself to
Red Skull.
Red Skull. That's the one, Red Skull. How can I not know this? MBE Hereos. We're talking about comic book films.
When you said pepperoni guy, I was thinking Pizza Hut from Spaceballs, but
But I think there may be a set-up where they retrieve some of the stones, including the Soul Stone, but it goes back to its rightful place, and they then have to sacrifice themselves. One of them has to sacrifice themselves to save the other half of the galaxy or the universe that's been snapped out of existence. And I think it will be Steve Rogers who puts his name into the hat, steps forward for the greater good, sacrifices himself, and does end up reuniting with Peggy Carter, but obviously they're both dead. In terms of the other ones, I think Iron Man, I actually agree, Stephen. I used to think Iron Man would be the guy to die, Tony Stark would be the guy who would die. But actually I'm starting to believe that perhaps he may be maimed, become a sort of a grizzly old veteran who, fed up with the battle, steps away, walks off into the sunset, and maybe has sporadic appearances. Maybe he could become the new Stan Lee, popping up in various different forms in some role, and some minor bit part player. I don't think Scarlett Johansson will be finished with the franchise. I think obviously Black Widow will go off. I think she's got her own standalone.
I think she's got a lot to offer as well, John.
Yeah, so I think she'll survive. I think, Hawkeye, aka Ronan, I think there's a nice subplot bubbling away there, Stephen. He's going to be obviously this tragic figure. He's lost his family to the finger snap. I think he's going to go off. I think it's Japan or Asia he goes to. It forms into a new character, Ronan, who's got blades and he's a hooded figure, because we did see that, I think it's Ronin. Ronin.
Oh, Ronin.
Ronin, it may be. So you see, obviously we've seen the figure in the previous MBE Heroes. It was him and I believe Nebula. So I think they're going to do that switch with him. He's going to become this new persona, obviously, and that's going to be intriguing. I don't think they'll kill him off with him just appearing as this new version of himself. And Thor, we're going to discuss later in the show, Thor, I don't think is going to bite the bullet because he is just too big a character. I don't think Chris Hemsworth's that talented an actor. I think he's a talented actor, but I don't think he's so talented that he can afford to just throw away the character of Thor and say, screw the MCU, I'm going off to do new things. It'd be all very David Duchovny, X-Files-esque, where he wants to pursue a different career, but he's just not made out from it.
Bruce Banner as well.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle that character, because we know that I might be wrong here. The property of that character still remains with one of those studios. I can't remember the studio.
What was the studio? Yeah.
But I don't know what they're going to do there, because I know that they had some kind of deal with Ruffalo, Mark Ruffalo, as if I know him.
Mark.
You know, and I think.
I think it was a 5 picture deal.
I think that's nearly up, you know, because he's made that appearance in Ragnarok as well, which uses up one of those appearances.
It was a very good
appearance. I don't know what they're going to do with that. I've never really given it a thought. Just getting back to your original question, John, where it's going to lead, I don't know. Honestly, don't know, and I don't really want to know. That's the difference between the way I look at Marvel and the way I look at Star Wars. Star Wars, I grew up with. We had those films. We grew up with the films. And it was always the theories, and you know, it run wild in your head.
Yeah.
With the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's only been the last 12 years or so to really absorb this, and I've really just enjoyed not thinking about what's going to happen next. I prefer getting into the cinema and just getting in with no idea what's going to happen, just getting in fresh and really enjoying the experience. You know?
Well, certainly that's going to be the case anyway, Stephen, because we don't have a clue in terms of what is going to happen in this story. It's all speculation.
Well, that's a good thing, John. This is coming out on the Tuesday, so nobody can.
So they can't be said, look at these idiots, these
they don't know what they're talking
they
about.
don't know what they're talking about.
Films
it
doesn't
out, play out like that at all. But Stephen, I think there's definitely going to be time travel in here. I think we are going to see the utilisation of the quantum realm, because there was behind the scenes photos of the various actors. I believe it was Captain America, Tony Stark and Ant-Man had these little wrist gadgets, and I think this is going to be how they access the quantum realm. There's been one great theory that the shot in the trailers of them walking with the white suits somehow interconnects to, I think it was Hank Pym, getting into the quantum realm to save Janet Van Dyne.
Have they actually explained the ending of Ant-Man and the Wasp yet? How Scott Lang's getting out of that?
No, they've not explained how you
situation?
get out. I think that may be Captain Marvel. I think she can access the quantum realm.
Yeah.
Perhaps not, but I think it's all going to be really dependent on the quantum realm. I think they're going to utilise this for time travel, have to go back and somehow get some of these stones off of Thanos, maybe weaken his hand, and then we'll see it maybe playing out differently, and they can all band together. The current group, the original, I like to say the OG Avengers with some of the newer faces. Obviously, I can't recall the woman's name, the actress. She was in Dani Guerrera. She's obviously playing one of the Wakandans, close to Black Panther. I think we'll see these guys taking it on. I actually, just rounding it up, Stephen, because I don't want to give it on. We have got a whole show
to go
here. But in terms of how I think it's going to play out, who the primary figures are going to be that are going to take down Thanos, I think it could be... Also, it's going to be a team game here.
Yeah, they've all got their own reasons.
I do think someone's going to have to sacrifice with the Soul Stone setup. But I think it's eventually going to be Nebula who's going to take down Thanos, because Nebula was the one who killed him in the Infinity Saga in the comic run. And I think she's been left alive, and there's no reason for that character, who's been fairly superfluous to the story to date. She's also got this on-off battle with Gamora, the battle of the witch, who's the favourite daughter. Yeah. And he shunned her again and again. You're not worth the parts and stuff like that make you up. I can't recall the exact quote. Yeah. So I think she's going to have a really prominent role in taking down Thanos eventually. But also we've got the Thor revenge story that's not redeemed itself yet. And we've got a whole host of other characters. Hulk still brooding for getting that beaten at the beginning of Infinity War. I think he'll have a role to play. Tony Stark will maybe still be embittered and obviously want to right the wrong of seeing his friend Peter Parker, this young sun-like figure, dying in front of him. So I think there's a whole array of possibilities, and eventually I think it'll be Nebula that will take him down. I do think they'll go back to his Endeavour, the Forge, where Peter Dinklage's dwarf character. I think we'll see them perhaps come back there and doing something, maybe stealing some of the stones and forging a new gauntlet. I think that's
possible.
It's possible, but I don't know. I may be wrong.
Something that just popped into my head as well in regards to Nebula's perhaps sacrifice of the the Soul Stone situation, whether or not we could see the resurrection of Gamora.
I think we could.
That would be quite interesting.
That's another thing we were talking about, Stephen, as well.
Because it would mean that she would be back in for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 as well.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I don't know if you get anything
very,
else.
very briefly, Stephen, before we move on, that was one thing we were discussing before we came on as well, the Soul Stone. Is there going to be this thing inside the Soul Stone? We see Thanos speaking with Gamora at the end. Was it with it? Or something along those lines. Are we going to see the likes of Doctor Strange, Peter Parker, maybe within the Soul Stone, the realm, maybe being aware of the fact that they're still caught in limbo. Maybe try to hatch up a plan to defeat Thanos with the people that are alive. I don't know. I've not read any of the comic runs, so
that's the good thing about these films, John. You can, like ourselves, we're just fans.
One thing's for sure, it's going to be epic. I cannot wait.
Yeah,
just cannot wait. Jesus
obviously,
Christ.
we'll be giving our own thoughts on that once we do see it later
hopefully
on.
It lives up to the expectations.
I'm saying this week, but it's actually next week when this show goes out. But we'll move on to the next topic of conversation, John. This comes in from GeekTyrant.com. It's Spider-Man Far From Home. Director says Nick Fury is like Peter Parker's mean new stepdad.
Yeah, that's again very intriguing. Yeah. And it's fitting with the persona we see with Nick Fury in the trailers.
Yeah.
Because he comes across as quite a angry, embittered version of Fury. Certainly not that guy we've seen in Captain Marvel.
No.
But he was this young, sprightly, almost... I don't want to say naive, because I don't think...
Optimistic.
Optimistic, yeah. He's not been embittered with the realities of war and life. But he's very much this... He's an angry guy. He's wanting the role done. He's sending Peter Parker off to Europe to, as they say, take on some villainous elementals. I presume that's Mysterio and obviously Jake Gyllenhaal's character. That's going to be an incredible villain. You talk about villains, not quite on the scale of Thanos, but we know that guy can act, and that looks like a very cool villain. Just what he's doing, conjuring up these water things and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's interesting, Stephen. That obviously the young to Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark's Yang, this guy who's viewing Peter Parker as a young son figure. He views him as a mentor. They say he's almost like the good uncle, the supportive cool uncle. I've seen Tony Stark more of a father figure to Peter Parker in that Homecoming film. So I think that's perfect, having Fury being the Yang to that, or the Yin to that Yang. Him obviously being the angry new stepdad who's firmly focused on getting the job done.
John, I also saw John Favreau's character more like the uncle, for Peter Parker. And you're right, I think.
And you've seen that in the trailer?
Yeah, Tony Stark's relationship was more father-like. Yeah. It's a new dynamic. That's what we get from this article. It's going to be a new dynamic. And as you said, we did see it from the trailer. The trailer came out a few months ago. The sort of not abruptness of Nick Fury's introduction to introducing himself to Peter Parker, but it was very straight to the point, and I think he's basically sees Peter Parker as more of a tool in the sort of bigger picture of things. It's going to be interesting as well, John, when this film does come out. It was a strange one because, as we know, this is the last film in this phase, but in regards to the film's trailer coming out before Endgame came out, we knew the Spider-Man is never going to die. He's going to come back in some capacity. He's going to come back in some.
They weren't working that deal with Sony to have him die.
No, exactly. So it's not as if it was a big major spoiler. That Peter Parker was going to be resurrected after Endgame or anything like that. We know these characters are coming back. Just the timing of the trailer, more or less. But the trailer did suggest that to me in regards to the relationship between Nick Fury and Peter Parker. It's going to be very interesting to see how Peter Parker deals with that, because I felt Tony Stark was very strict to a point as well. Definitely. Very brief. That was the concern going into Homecoming, was how big a role as Tony Stark and Iron Man got in this. Because that first trailer that came out, as you recall, we're thinking it's more like an Iron Man trailer, but thankfully it wasn't like that.
Thankfully not.
The capacity,
very much a comedic levity sometimes.
Yeah, it was in there, at the right points as well, just to sort of guide him and sort of, bring him down to earth every now and again when he was getting ahead of himself. But I think this is going to be totally different. I think Nick Fury is going to be in it a lot more.
I hope so.
I think he will be, and I think he is the one that's going to really man up Peter Parker as well. I think he needs to. I think the character deserves to be developed now. I think we've seen him as the sort of young kid now, and it's time for him to grow up a bit now. And I think Nick Fury will bring him along in that.
Getting to grips with this superhero life. We're all been living that superhero life. We hear War Machine say.
Yeah, that's right.
He's been living it. Although I do find the notion of him hardening him up a little bit harsh. If this does indeed take place after the events of Endgame and Infinity War, because he obviously is snapped out of existence, has to dust away, live that horror.
Yeah, get over it, Peter.
And then he comes back and gets hassled with Nick Fury as if, come on, we have to go to Europe now, get your shit in order here, Peter. We know you dusted away. I dusted as well, and I said, oh shit, I didn't care, I wasn't crying like a little bitch. So, come on, let's go. But look, it's very intriguing. I cannot wait to see this film as well. It's going to be almost like Ant-Man at the end of Phase 2, very much different to the ensemble Endgame, much slower, more street level, and I loved that with Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, I liked it with Homecoming. I thought it was a great film.
I loved Homecoming, Stephen, but just seeing the difference in the cosmic scale to a more human scale, it's going to be a much needed break from all the pressure and also the anxiety of what's going to happen. This big universe defining sort of a battle. But it's going to be very, very cool. I like what they say about him being more he's too preoccupied with a bunch of high school problems, and he wants him to fix his mind on being this more than a friendly neighbourhood sort of a superhero. He wants him to focus on getting the job done. So it's going, you're absolutely right, it's going to be a hardening, maybe a shaping of this character into the guy we know from obviously the Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker interpretations. But I like this quote down below as well. I think it's Richard Greco, no, it's starring Richard Greco, it's actually the director still saying this, where he says that it's going to be this clash of the world-weary Nick Fury and the enthusiastic New York teenager Peter Parker gallivanting across Europe. What's more fun than that? You put them together and you have good stuff. I cannot wait to see the two come together. Talk about yin and yang, Tony Stark and Nick Fury, yin and yang, Nick Fury and Peter Parker. Two totally different characters, totally different viewpoints. One's very energetic and happy-go-lucky, one's, as they do say, world-weary and getting on in his years. So it's going to be incredible. I can't wait to see it, man.
I can't wait either, John. But we'll move on to our next article, a film that I didn't think I would look forward to, but now I've read the article, it kind of intrigues me. It's coming in from IndieWire.com, and it's Tessa Thompson Says Thor 4 pitch is to have Taika Waititi return to direct. Now, just before I hand it over, John, Thor 4, I never thought this was going to happen.
Not after that world.
Well, I was just going to say that. I thought if you'd asked me after that world if you wanted to see another Thor film, I probably would have said no chance.
No.
Ragnarok came out and it changed my mind.
Yeah.
I think this is why this article has come up, because of the reception from the fans initially, I think, or importantly, on how they took this film in. I thought it was a breath of fresh air for the character as well. I was really disappointed with the Dark World. After I liked the first Thor film, the second one I just thought that's a shame. You know, that's a pity. I liked this character in the first movie. I still like the character in the second film. I just thought the film itself was just a bore, an absolute bore fest.
It was terrible.
So when Ragnarok came around, it was a total different tone of film. The humour in that film was very reminiscent of Guardians of the Galaxy humour. You throw in Bruce Banner in this predicament he's in. He's in the cosmos somewhere. Just added to
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, got Jeff Goldblum as well. Was fantastic. It was just a great film.
It was.
So the question is, John, do you want to see a fourth instalment of this character's arc?
I love Thor. I have to say, I think he's one of my favourite characters, Stephen, so I would be delighted to see a fourth Thor film, especially if we are going to see Taika Waititi coming back to direct it, because much of my enjoyment of that film was down to him in one way or another, if not for the directing and the beautiful performances he got out of Chris Hemsworth. I think until Infinity War, the best performance we'd seen of him is Thor to date, and him playing off Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie character, that was a beautiful chemistry they had, and great directing from Taika. But not just that, the performance, obviously the voice acting, his Korg, I think it was. That was just incredible.
Excellent.
A lot of the humour. Right at the end, he's talking about you've got a foundation to build this world off of, and then it implodes. And I can't recall the line, but I was in tears laughing at that. It was so funny. So you're right, Stephen. A lot of that humour was down to him as well. He brought his wacky sense of humour in, and we've seen it done with Guardians of the Galaxy. It works beautifully. And there was so much humour in there, the interactions between Thor and Hulk. So I would love to see a continuation of that story, getting into another potentially fourth Thor film, seeing more of Valkyrie and Thor together, perhaps seeing, I don't know if we will see Bruce Banner and Hulk, whether they're going to be done after Endgame, because as you did say, I can't recall the picture deal with obviously Mark Ruffalo. He may be finished, so we might not see that continuation of those two. But I'm well up for it, Stephen. I'm always up for more MCU films, certainly with Chris Hemsworth and Thor. Love the guy, love his portrayal of that character. I just think it's superb. It's been going on for so long now. And you're right, after Dark World I thought there's no chance we'd even get a trilogy. But is it going to happen? I don't know. Because they traditionally like to do their trilogies
Does Chris Hemsworth want to do it as well? That's the other question.
I think he would.
I think he will, John.
Yeah.
As you said earlier, I think that's where he belongs at this stage in his career anyway, and that's not a disservice to him. He's, I think he's still got a lot to offer the character as well. I would like to see it basically on the things you just said as well.
Yeah.
As a character, I was always intrigued by, more so than Captain America before the films came out.
Yeah.
I would probably say that I'm more interested in the Captain America cinematic version of the character now, though. But I would still love to see a fourth film, and if we could just forget the Dark World and make this the third film, can we maybe just erase that out?
Yeah, erase that out of history, Stephen, just like Iron Man 3 and 2, can we erase those? I actually don't mind Iron Man 2, and I love Ben Kingsley, but he's not Asian, so that was a slight besmirching of that trilogy. But Stephen, look, I'll be delighted to see it. It's all through the grapevine at the moment. It's Tessa Thompson speaking at a press junket, I believe, at an interview for Little Woods, said she heard a pitch had been presented to the studio and that Taika was a guy perhaps helming it.
Well, I would love to see her character more in it as well, because I don't think we got enough of her.
Yeah, actually, brings up a question about Endgame as well. Will we see Cork? I know we're getting Valkyrie in there, but will we see Cork coming back for Endgame? Because he's quite a decent character.
Yeah, possibly, John. But listen, we'll move on to our final article this week on Heroes.
I've just clicked it down, damn you.
That's okay. I'll carry on anyway. You can.
I've got it back.
It's a Gotham series finale trailer. After 5 years and 100 episodes, Fox's superhero show finally shows us Batman. This is, of course, the television show.
Gotham.
Kind of cheating here. We normally cover just the film elements, but listen,
comic book related, isn't it?
It's Batman we're talking about. We're not going to let this one slip.
No.
I've got to be honest, John. I'm only on season 3 of this. I've been trying to keep up with most of the Gotham, also the Netflix series as well. I'm in the 3rd season of Gotham at the moment. Thoroughly enjoying it. A lot to catch up on, but the big question is, when we were going to see Batman, if we were going to see Batman, were they going to go down the road that Smallville went down with the last shot, the last scene after 10 years, finally get to see the son of Jor-El putting on the cape and flying off. We did get to see that, and that was it, done. And this teaser trailer that we see,
it's all very Smallville, right at the end of the trailer.
Yeah, but the thing that intrigued me the most was, I think it's David Mazouz who plays the young Bruce Wayne, and he's been playing this role for the last 5 years, obviously 5 seasons.
It's all very Garfield.
There seems to be a bit of a time jump now that we're getting to see an older actor putting on the bat pants, bat nipples, and it's going to be very interesting, because I didn't think they'd go down that road, to be honest with you. I thought that it was going to... I suppose there's only so much you can stretch a story out for. I get that, Jim Gordon is as interesting a character as he is. Let's not beat around the bush here. We're all Batman fans, more so than Jim Gordon. But I think that the last 2.5 seasons, 3 seasons that I've been watching this for, Jim Gordon, the character, has been very intriguing. But it's how much of a sort of shelf life does a character have? It's sort of a bit part, I feel like. I don't know if it's been a disservice to the character, but it's all been a very much detective-based television series up to this point, with elements of madness from these villains and stuff like that, and how they're getting developed, which has kept us all intrigued. To get to see, especially for David Mazouz, who's been, investing in this character for the last 5 years, it's a bit of a shame that. I thought perhaps that, the actor probably started off a little bit too young.
Yeah, and he was too skinny, way too skinny.
Yeah, and I think, but that's not to say I've not enjoyed the actor's performance, John. I thought his on-screen chemistry with Sean Pertwee has been fantastic.
One of the best bits in the show.
It's been a father and son kind of relationship between both of them, and that's credit to both actors. But as I said, I thought that the actor was just too young to begin with. That it made me think we're going to get 20 seasons of Gotham before we actually get to see Bruce Wayne as a man,
Yeah, Stephen, I think it would have been absolutely ridiculous having the show running for 20 years and obviously waiting on David Mazouz to bulk up and grow on in years. But as I did say, Stephen, that Sean Pertwee and David Mazouz relationship was very intriguing. I'm actually a good few seasons behind as well. I believe I've only watched the first 2. It was the Joker.
He came in, I think, the tail end of, or was it? It might have been the first episode of the 2nd season.
So I've seen season 2. So I need to catch up big time. So, but I'm glad to see they're finally introducing Batman, because obviously it's been something that's been hinted at for a long time, the growth of Bruce Wayne under the tutorship of Sean Pertwee's Alfred Pennyworth, I keep trying to think Pennywise the Clown. But look, just
that would be terrifying.
Yes, well, there's a whole host of terrifying characters in here, Stephen.
Don't need another one.
Also the Riddler, and Robin Taylor is obviously the Penguin. So there's a whole host of interesting things been going on in this show for a number of years. Even the story of Catwoman growing up, the very independent Carmen Bicondover, I think the name is, her character.
Selena Kyle,
exactly. And as you did say, Commissioner Gordon and his relationship with Donald Logue's Harvey. So you've got a whole host of things going on in there. It's a very well shot and interesting show. I'm just glad to see that after so many seasons we're finally getting to see the Caped Crusader, the Caped Crusader, I can't see it, I should say. I'm having a mare here, Stephen. So I'm very much intrigued to finally get into this show. I'm actually watching Peaky Blinders at the moment, so I'll finish up season 4 of that and then I'll dive back into Gotham, safe in the knowledge that Batman is going to be making an appearance at some point. Hopefully by the time I get into it, watch through, we'll have season 6 on the coming round the corner just in time for me to sit in my chair and watch it. Who knows? I digress, Stephen. I'm going to round up the show because I am digging myself an Anthony Daniels. Yes, that's the one, Stephen, a Batcave. But look, at digress. I'm going to round up the show. What did you make of this show? Did you enjoy it? There's been a lot of cuts at the end. That should give you a hint at what's been happening at the end. If you've enjoyed it, you know what to do. Comment below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this in the future. And we'll be back tomorrow, Stephen, with movie news.